Hi everybody, Sandy Hodgkins here from West Middle Farm in Bradford, New Hampshire. And again, I had another wonderful week of helping people with their horses and then advancing my own horsemanship, doing some more experimenting and how to really set things up so it's the horse's idea. What I wanted to share with you this morning is the information that Linda Perilli has put together. I think it'll be very beneficial if you are the type of person that thinks in pictures and has a way of filing information that you've learned. So this is what she has come up with. And when I look back and I think about the different horsemen that I learned from, I can very clearly see how what they do with the horse fits into one of these 10 modules. So, you know, you may or may not be a fan of the Perilli program and what they've done, but without a doubt, Linda has put together an amazing format for you to figure out the root of any issues that you're having with your horse. So let's go over it now. So there's 10 modules altogether, and myself and I think other horsemen, they are always shooting for harmony. And Linda has come up with 10 questions for each one of these to help you maybe figure out if something needs some improvement. So if harmony is our goal, that question is, I'm doing this, how about you? So I'm opening and closing a gate. I'm going sideways. I'm doing a flying lead change. All of these things, that's the thought process. A horseman would say maybe these are my feet, not just my feet, but the whole horse all together. These are my feet all together. So that's kind of harmony. Now, if you don't have harmony, then you have to figure out, how come I don't have harmony? What piece is missing? Or what piece needs to be better so that I have harmony? And then that's when we start working on these other 6 modules. So, connection. And the question for that is, are you with me? So, is your horse with you, or would they rather be at the barn? Would they rather be eating grass? Would they rather be with their buddy horse? These are all questions of, are you with me? And, you know, I always think about it is, does your horse even like you? Does your horse want to be with you? So one of the things that we do here is kind of the test is we turn your horse loose and see, where do they go? Do they head right to the gate? Do they go for the other horses? How long do they have to search before they go to you and they know that the best place to be is with you? So that's kind of one of the things that we do here to kind of test how good is your connection with your horse. Now the next 2, they go hand in hand. So we've got relaxation and we have responsiveness. So these 2 questions are, the one for relaxation is, can I give you a loose rein or a loose rope? Is your horse relaxed? If you feel like you have to have a hold of them the whole time, they're probably not relaxed. This is at the walk, trot, and canter. It could be in an arena or a big open field. So you're always going to be testing that. Can I give you a loose rein or rope? The next one is responsiveness. So will you respond to light aids? So light aids they're light, right? It's not jabbing a leg or your heel or a spur or using a stick. That's not light aids. So these 2 modules, they have to go hand in hand, because if you have a horse that's so relaxed and they're not responsive, that's kind of what we call a dull horse. They're really dull. And if you have the flip of that, a horse that's really responsive and not relaxed, then they're reactive. They're just reacting to everything, reacting to you, reacting to the environment. So these 2 have to go hand in hand. These 3 modules are what Linda calls the core modules. So these are really, really important to have with your horse. And if you think back to horsemen that you've rode with or been around, and say they take a horse to show what they're doing or show how something could be better, think about what did they do? Did they get that horse more responsive? Did they get them relaxed? And usually these two things will lead to the connection. So that's the really cool thing about these modules. And when you're working with some really amazing horsemen, is you start doing things in these modules to get things in other modules, which is really cool. All right, so let's move on. So you've got these three, and then the issue might be with confidence. Does your horse have the confidence? So the question for that is, are you spooky or scared or unsure? I like to use the word unsure. So are they unsure? Now your horse, they need confidence in you. They need confidence in the environment, right? So oftentimes horses are okay alone and they're pretty confident, maybe in an arena or outside. But when you start switching things around, you might find that there's an area that they need more confidence. The next one is impulsion. And the question for impulsion is, can I regulate your gait? And some of the things that we do here is, can you do 4 speeds? 4 speeds of the walk, 4 speeds of the trot, 4 speeds of the canter, and 4 speeds of the backup. So can you do 4 speeds? Can you regulate your horse's gait? That's really, really important. The next one is bending. So bending is, are you flexible? And also in bending, this is where riding comes in. Like if you're riding with contact and you have 2 hands on the reins, you know, if you think about horses, they are naturally pretty claustrophobic animals, right? And everything in our world is a trap. The saddle's a trap, the halter's a trap, the bridle's a trap. When we use our reins like this, that's a trap. The trailer's a trap. Everything is trap, 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 trap. So here's one example of how you can set something up so that it's not a trap. So say you're riding with contact, and I want to turn left. I'd like to turn left. Instead of pulling this rein, I'm going to give the outside rein. And then how much you give will determine how sharp of a turn you might do. So, and again, that is if you have responsiveness and your horse is moving, and you can direct them with light aids. So they all go hand in hand. Okay, and then of course being flexible and bending, and you know, we want straightness, and sometimes we have to get crooked to get the straightness, to get our horses to search for straightness. And then if you get all these really good, like if you were to label it, Linda talks about from 1 to 10, 10 being fantastic. If you got a 7 or better in all of these things, you'll be that much closer to harmony. So that's really cool. And then of course agility is when this starts working on the human. So if you think about cutting or jumping or even trail riding, you have to be pretty aware and steady and secure in your seat so your horse can do quick movements and that you're with them. I really enjoy purpose. So for me, purpose really helps me not be a trainer, like really setting things up so that it's your horse's idea and we have a job to do. We have to go open and close the gate. We have to do the mailbox. In this week's lesson, you'll see a highlight of Rocky and Gus. They've been kind of bickering if I've tried to pony them. So that was our job. Nobody can bicker at each other, and we have to do some circles and figure eights and, you know, some other things. And you have to be with me. So I had to have 2 horses in harmony with me. The more you start doing this stuff, the more your awareness comes up. And if you think about, again, go back to them really good horsemen that you ride with, awareness is a word that will pop up over and over and over. Are you aware? Did you notice that they moved? Did you notice that they were going forward instead of backward? Or did you notice that one nostril was higher than the other, or that their ear went, or their eyes blinked, or they swished their tail before they licked and chewed? So being aware is, I think, key to so much of this stuff. And then the last one is power. And oftentimes we feel power in a negative way, the horse that bolted or reared or bucked. But we want to start to feel that in a positive way. So Flying lead changes, that takes a certain amount of agility and power, right? They got to be with you in harmony. If you do games like barrel racing or roping out of a box, that kind of thing, they have to have a certain level of power in order to get the job done. All right, so these are the 10 modules, and I think very categorically in my mind. I'm very much a picture person, and when I ride with other horsemen, I can very quickly, if I observe something happening, I can say, oh yeah, that got that horse relaxed. I'm going to throw it in this module, right, this file in my head. And then if I happen to have a horse or a situation that's shaping up like that, then I can try that strategy. So I really, really I really love what Linda has put together. And I think it's very easy to help people understand. This works. And I love what Joe Walter says, there's no good or bad, there's no right or wrong. There's things that work and there's things that don't work. And what might work today might not work tomorrow. And what works tomorrow might not work today. So don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to try new things. And, you're going to find out what works and what doesn't work. So I hope you got something out of this. And Linda Pirelli will be here this June. Joe Walter will be here this July. We're going to be headed over to Tom Curtin in May at Jolinus's farm. These are all amazing people to be around. And you never know what you're going to get out of a clinic. You just never know. And then, of course, we definitely have things here. We have an awareness clinic, which we're going to pair that up with leadership. You can have the best strategies and the best techniques in the world up here, right? You can have all that stuff up here. But if you can't give your horse the leadership that they need with that strategy or technique that you have, it might not work. And I've found a lot of times people know what to do. Their timing might be a little wrong or off. And if they just had a little bit more leadership and a little bit more believing in themselves that they could do it, then it might just happen and the horse would believe in you. So I hope this gives you something to think about, and I hope you enjoy this week's highlights. So this week I headed back down to Draft Gratitude to work with that horse Penny, and I was really excited to see her laying down and allowing the owner to walk right up to her. And we wanted her to get up, but I said, don't make her get up. How far back can you rub to cause her to get up? And that was really, really nice. So here, I was just trying to see how does she feel about these different things touching her legs. And even though she's been a driving horse and she can give to pressure and push into pressure, it was really about how does she feel about the rope. So in this, we're going back to picking up her feet. And the thought process, my goal is to pick up her feet, but that's not what I'm thinking. I'm just rubbing her leg and she's offering to pick up her foot. So now I had the owner do it, and I explained to her kind of what I did, and this was Penny's reaction to her. And so I asked the owner, what exactly did you do to cause that reaction? And she was quite firm, and you can see even I got a little reaction out of that. So I said, all you got to do is just rub her. Just rub down her leg, and she will offer to pick up that foot. And you can see both of them are a little unsure about each other. And then pretty soon she hung in there. And I did give the horse a cookie to reestablish that this is a good thing. It's a way to kind of interrupt that thought process. If you can watch the horse and her expression, she kind of gets a little locked up. So we did the same thing on this side. And I had the owner pick up her foot in a way so that if Penny did go to kick her, her head would be safe. She'd be in a safe position. All right, so here now I'm running my hand down her back leg. And in this moment, I just had to redirect the feet. So kicking out at me was not
what my picture was. So then I ended up getting, I put the rope around her back leg and teaching her to respond to the pressure, and then of course having the owner do it as well, so that when I leave, the process can continue. I knew the farrier was coming this week, so I wanted to set Penny up so that she didn't have to go in those stock chutes. Oh, and actually before that here, I was having the girl just kind of brush her, and I wanted to give the rope to the girl instead of us holding her, because it's a much safer position. And then even just the brush, we changed the brush to be a little bit softer, and you can see the change in the horse. So this is where we go back to kind of setting it up and preparing for the farrier. And in the end, she was able to do the front feet successfully, and then we'll still work on the back feet. And we got our paddocks all set up for clinics. And George and I took the 2 young horses out for a ride, doing more things individually. And then I was noticing when I was trying to pony Rocky that Gus and Rocky, they would be bickering at each other. And I don't want the horses doing that. I want them to be in harmony with me. So little by little, they were being better partners, and Gus was getting softer and softer, knowing his job. And it's really a good way for me to practice my rope handling skills on horses that are willing partners. So can I maneuver Gus here, and can I get close to another horse and not have him try to nip at him or give him dominant looking expressions? So this was a lot of fun, and I really encourage you guys to get out and try doing this stuff. And then I'm really working with Rocky on getting some softness going into transitions, and it's just moments of it. I'm not trying to hold him in it. I'm seeing what he'll offer me and then taking what he offers. Sometimes you just need a hug. This is a lady that came in. You can see her horse trying to nip at her. We were just doing an exercise of just leading around a circle. And simulations are really important. It helps your body get some muscle memory and helping you when the situation arises, it'll just come to the forefront. So then I had this lady practice with Gus, and you can see her horse again tries to go after her. But this time she had some strategies on how to interrupt that pattern. So she had to change in order for the horse to change, and the horse made a lovely change. This horse right here is like a hot rod. It's like a Ferrari. So this exercise, we were trying to see if she could get her to stop straight, or get him to stop straight. And you can see his hindquarters kept kicking out. That's because the motor's still going. He wasn't with her. And then we got to stop and chat, and the horse really got to feel good about himself on the inside. You can see the yawning happening. And then we went to trailer loading, and then again, it's not about the trailer, and the thought process at first was to get in the trailer. And now this is just stay on your line. Get on that line. Oh, now you're on that line. Oh, doesn't the trailer look so nice? And then this weekend, I got to spend the weekend with my dad at a resort. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this week's session.